From economic tensions to military conflict, the China-US dilemma. Imagine this, two superpowers, the US and China, locked in a fierce economic battle. But what if this rivalry escalates into something far more dangerous? Today, we're uncovering how the simmering tensions of trade wars and tariffs could ignite a military conflict that changes everything. First, let's set the stage. The US and China are engaged in a high-stakes economic conflict, with tariffs and sanctions flying left and right. As China rises, the US feels threatened and the stakes keep getting higher. But this isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about power, influence, and dominance on the world stage. Chapter 1. The Economic Battlefield. Let's dive deeper into the economic battlefield. Over the last few decades, China has transformed into the world's second-largest economy, leveraging its massive workforce and manufacturing capabilities. Meanwhile, the US has been grappling with job losses in key industries as companies relocate to capitalize on cheaper labor abroad. The trade deficit between the two nations has reached staggering heights, with the US importing hundreds of billions more from China than it exports. This imbalance has fueled resentment and calls for protectionist measures in America, leading to tariffs that have sparked a trade war. But what does this mean for the average citizen? Higher prices, job insecurity, and an uncertain future. Now, I want to hear from you. How do you feel about the economic policies of both countries? Are tariffs the right approach? Share your thoughts in the comments. Chapter 2. The Path to Military Conflict. Now, let's explore how these economic tensions can morph into military conflict. Economic rivalries often lay the groundwork for more severe confrontations. As trade disputes escalate, so does the risk of miscommunication and miscalculation. What starts as a tariff war can quickly spiral out of control. The South China Sea, a crucial shipping route, has become a flashpoint where military assets from both nations are increasingly on display. This region is not just a strategic point, but also a symbol of national pride and power. China's aggressive expansion in this region, building artificial islands and asserting territorial claims, has alarmed the US and its allies. These actions are seen as a direct challenge to international norms and freedom of navigation. The potential for a military standoff grows as both sides engage in provocative maneuvers. Military exercises and shows of force become more frequent, each side testing the other's resolve. A single misstep or misunderstanding could ignite a conflict that neither side truly wants but feels compelled to engage in. The stakes are incredibly high, and the margin for error is razor thin. And let's not forget the role of alliances. Diplomatic channels are constantly buzzing, trying to de-escalate tensions. Countries like Japan, Australia, and NATO members are watching closely. Their involvement could turn a bilateral conflict into a global one. If conflict erupts, they may be drawn in, complicating the situation further. The international community would be forced to take sides, leading to a broader and more devastating conflict. What would a military confrontation look like? War games and simulations give us a glimpse, but the reality would be far more chaotic and destructive. The consequences would be catastrophic, not just for the nations involved, but for the entire world. Economic downturns, humanitarian crises, and global instability would follow in the wake of such a conflict. Chapter 3. The Consequences of War. So, what if this economic rivalry turns into a military showdown? The stakes are incredibly high, and the potential fallout is something we must consider seriously. The repercussions would be dire. We're talking about disrupted global supply chains, soaring prices, and a potential economic recession that could affect millions. Imagine the impact on everyday life: empty store shelves, businesses shutting down, and a stock market in freefall. The human cost would be immeasurable, with lives lost and families torn apart. War refugees would flood neighboring countries, and the emotional toll on those left behind would be devastating. Both nations have invested heavily in military technology. The advancements in weaponry and defense systems are staggering, showcasing a relentless arms race. The United States has advanced air and naval capabilities, while China is rapidly modernizing its forces. Each side is preparing for the worst, with drills and exercises becoming more frequent and intense. A conflict could lead to devastating battles in the Pacific, cyber warfare, and even the use of nuclear weapons. The scale of destruction would be unprecedented, affecting not just the warring nations, but the entire world. The world would be watching, holding its breath as the situation unfolds. Global news networks would provide round-the-clock coverage, and social media would be abuzz with updates and opinions. Now, I want to know what you think. Your perspective is crucial in understanding the broader implications of such a conflict. If conflict were to break out, who do you believe would have the upper hand? Would it be a matter of technological prowess or sheer numbers? Would it be the United States with its technological superiority, or China with its vast resources and manpower? Each has its strengths and weaknesses, making the outcome uncertain. Let's discuss in the comments. Share your thoughts, and let's engage in a meaningful conversation about the potential consequences of such a monumental event. Closing thoughts. As we wrap up, it's clear that the stakes are incredibly high. The economic landscape is shifting rapidly, and the consequences of these changes are far-reaching. The economic conflict between the United States and China is not just a matter of trade. It encompasses technology, intellectual property, and even geopolitical influence. This tension is a potential spark for military confrontation that could reshape the world as we know it. The implications are profound and could affect global stability. So, are we on the brink of a new Cold War? The parallels are striking, but the context is different, making the outcome uncertain. I want to hear your thoughts. Your perspective is valuable in this complex discussion. Do you think economic tensions will lead to military conflict? Or can diplomacy find a way to ease these tensions? Who do you think would win in such a scenario? The answer isn't straightforward and involves many variables. Let us know in the comments below. Your insights could spark a meaningful conversation. And if you're finding this topic as fascinating as I am, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into global issues. We cover a range of topics that impact our world. Your support helps us keep these conversations going. Thanks for watching and being part of this community. What do you think the future holds for US-China relations? The possibilities are numerous and complex. Will diplomacy prevail, or are we heading for conflict? The stakes couldn't be higher. Share your opinions in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Your engagement makes a difference. Until then, stay informed and stay engaged. Goodbye.